Joining us now live from Richmond is Fightin' Joe Morrissey. He is a former House of Delegates member. He was a Democrat. He was an independent. And he's also running for mayor of Richmond. And I have predicted today on my show, once again, doubling down, that against all odds in the entire Democrat machine, Joe Morrissey is going to get elected mayor of Richmond. That is my prediction. Right up there with Trump being the nominee, Scott Taylor winning. I'm batting 1,000. So when I make a prediction, you know what? You can pretty much take it to the bank. Joining us now, Fightin' Joe Morrissey. Fightin' Joe, good to have you.
Good morning, John. How's everything in the city of brotherly love?
It's going fantastic. Good to have you here with us. Joe Morrissey running for mayor. We just had Terry McAuliffe on. We asked him, what was the deal with the defeat he had on Friday? He says he's going to continue to fight. My position on this thing from the beginning is I'm in favor of restoring the rights, but I thought he went about it the wrong way. He made it into a political football. Had he simply said, look, we're going to do this starting November the 8th after the election's over, that would have taken the partisanship out of it. But what does he do now?
Well, he's got an opportunity. He could go to federal court, John.
Okay.
John, you there?
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. John, I was saying he has an opportunity. He could go to federal court, but here's the problem. You hit the nail on the head a couple of seconds ago when you said he politicized the issue. And unfortunately, he did. I think the restoration of rights is an absolutely good thing. It gives people an incentive to follow the straight and narrow to become good, productive citizens. But had he just said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to restore the rights, but I'm going to do it after the general election, then nobody could say with a straight face, oh, he's politicizing it, but that's exactly what he did. And then there was a second problem. The rollout of the program was a disaster. There was no coordination with the registrars throughout the state. There was no syncing in of the felon database with the State Board of Elections database. And problem after problem arose. So I think, you got amateurs trying to do what lawyers should have been doing, and now look at those folks that thought they had their rights back and they don't. It's terribly, terribly unfortunate.
Okay, so look, at the end of the day, we're in favor of felons who have come out and they're trying to put their lives back in order, Joe. And you know how tough this is, and the recidivism rate in Virginia and especially in Richmond is so high. And I've done several of my shows from inside prisons. You know how tough it is to get out and stay out. You end up going back in, and part of getting back in society is getting a job and being able to vote and things like that. So how do you solve this now, Joe?
Well, number one, you return to square one. The governor has to and restore the individual's rights on an individual basis. Now, let's be clear. It has been done before, a blanket restoration of rights. You may recall the former Republican governor of Florida, Charlie Crist, issued an executive order and automatically restored the rights of 50,000 Floridians in one move. But it was done in conjunction with the Florida Constitution, and it wasn't rushed, and it was done correctly. This one wasn't done correctly. And what I think the governor will end up doing is probably making a charge through federal court trying to legitimize what he did, but I don't think it will be successful because the politicization of the whole restoration of rights has made it a debacle. The governor focused on the 1902 Constitution, state constitution. It had nothing to do with the 1902 Constitution. He focused on racial divisiveness, and the Supreme Court didn't want to hear that. They want to hear a legal argument as to why you restore these folks' rights. John, I've been doing it for about 7 years in my law firm. We do it for free. We help people get their rights back, and there's not a single person we've attempted to help that we didn't get their rights back. And I think, You and I both know what happened. The governor was trying to help LeVar Stoney out. LeVar claimed, and interview after interview, I am the architect of this restoration plan. Well, that architectural plan has absolutely imploded, and it's the people that are hurt are the 206,000 felons.
Do you think that LeVar Stoney, and so our audience knows, Joe Morrissey with us, Fight Joe, is running for mayor of Richmond. I predict he's going to win against all odds. LeVar Stoney, the favorite in this race, former Secretary of the Commonwealth, ally of Terry McAuliffe. He's raised, I don't know, millions of dollars. I stopped counting it, but it's a lot of money. Now, he was claiming, as you said, that he was kind of the architect of this, and now it's actually hurt the felons because we have to go back to square one. I mean, do you think this was done by Stoney for his political reasons, political gain?
I do, and LeVar did not claim I'm kind of the architect. After it was rolled out, he stood up and said, "I am the architect of this plan." If truth be told, I told LeVar in early 2014, here, you want to do something big, then restore the people's rights automatically, and I recommended that he do what Charlie Crist did, but I said, do it pursuant to our state constitution so you don't have any problems. John, listen, you and I have talked for many years, and I call it the way it is. And let me, and we've got lots of folks running for mayor, and let me put kudos out to some of them. To take people that have accomplished something. Jack Berry, he has done something with budgets in Hanover. He has worked as a businessman. He has done something to warrant running for mayor. Bruce Tyler is an architect. He's a principal in a firm, and he has done something of substance. He's worked. He's accomplished something. Jonathan Beliles is an insurance industry. He's on city council. But you ask LeVar, what has he done? The answer is the silence is deafening. He hasn't accomplished anything yet, and people do not like people parachuting into a job because somebody has given them a lot of money to do it. So I'll just, I have just now given accolades to D's, R's, and independents, and I'll call it the way I see it.
Well, listen, he was a successful political operative, right?
Exactly.
So
now,
I guess that's now. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, LeVar needs to go out and do something. He's got to. He's been in the state Democratic Party. He has been the political point man for McAuliffe, but he is a nice young man. But he needs to go out and do something. I don't care what it is, whether it's teach, whether it's get a law degree, whether it's set up a business, whether it's run a business, but do something that contributes, not just being a political appointee person, and then come back and say, I'm bringing this skill set into a particular job. But he hasn't done that yet.
Well, look, I want to say this. Joe Morrissey, I predicted you're going to win this race. I think you're going to win it on the first ballot. I didn't think you're going to go to a runoff, although that could happen. Give us a state of the race right now. How do you win this race in Richmond and defy the odds?
Okay, there are 8 people. I'm sorry, there are 8 people that are in the race right now. There's probably 4 to 5 folks at the top, probably 4 that are potential, that have the potential to win the race. It is essentially 9 individual elections. In order to win, you have to win 5 of the 9. It's not a plurality situation. You've got to win 5 of the 9 districts. And everybody right now is posturing to do just that. Here's how I see things. The polls have been done. People know who are leading in the various districts. I'm not going to go into that, but I'll just say that my opponents know where everybody stands. And we're pretty comfortable where we are. But here's what's going to happen. A person who is in second or third place as we get into September and October is going to say, I'm in second and third, I can't win this thing, and they're going to go negative really big.
Right.
Lots of money, lots of negative ads. And so the people out there, you want to see who's losing, look at the first person that goes negative, and you realize that person is gambling, is throwing everything in because they're losing. And that'll give you an idea of where they sit.
Well, look, Joe, let me give you my analysis of this because I think we're on the same page. LeVar Stoney has raised a ton of money. He's going to continue to do that. Come September, they are going to dump $1 million of negative ads in Richmond on Joe Morrissey. That is coming, and that is going to come in September. Now, here's what I think is going to happen. Wrong time, wrong place. Number one, I think we're in a very different time. People are tired of that stuff. They don't care how much money you have, how many negative ads you run. Randy Forbes ran $1 million of negative ads against Scott Taylor. We predicted he would get annihilated. I said he would get beat by 12. He got beat by 12. Okay? It doesn't work in today's environment. I'll tell you the other thing. Joe Morrissey is at the top of his game when he's fighting back negative ads. And I think that he's going to turn you into the victim. He's going to alienate the people that you've been fighting for a long time. I think the amount of negative ads that they're going to run against you in this race, Joe, is going to backfire. I think at the end of the day, they'll either have no impact at all or they'll actually be an asset to you. Because the thing about these negative ads, if they go over and over and over, I mean, after a while, it's just too much. I saw it in the 7th state Senate district with Frank Wagner, and I can't think of the Democrat's name, Gary McAuliffe, I think. Guy spent $2 million on negative ads. I mean, like every time you turn the TV on. And so Wagner beats him in basically a landslide. I think they're going to backfire. Am I right?
I think you're absolutely right. If you look at what happened in the Dan Gecker Studevant race, the governor gave Gecker $2 million, and he put it all in. It was all negative ads, and it didn't move the needle a bit. People essentially got immune to these advertisements. People, whether they're Republicans, Independents, Democrats, Libertarians, they know what Joe Morrissey's skill set is. You might not like me, but you know that the guy works hard, that he pays attention to detail, he makes sound legal arguments, and I've been standing up for the little guy. So what's going to happen is this. LeVar will go negative in a big way. I think it will backfire. I'll tell you this. It's the first time I've said it publicly. I will not respond with negative ads. That's not me. I haven't done it in any election ever. I've taken the high ground, and people appreciate that. And at the end of the day, people will say, okay, I believe, it's just my opinion, that you look at Joe's track record and you find out that he's run every office he's ever done in a fiscally prudent manner. I've run 3 different $1 million businesses, all successful, all under budget. I'm going to be a very fiscally conservative mayor. There's nothing that LeVar can say to undermine that. And you're right. I think it'll backfire, and we'll see how things stand on November 9th, John.
All right, fighting Joe Morrissey, we're out of time. My prediction is you're going to win this race and be the next mayor of Richmond. I think you're going to win it on the first ballot, if not the second ballot. I think you're going to win 5 wards, and that's it. Early survey showing Morrissey in the lead in those districts. Thanks for being with us, Joe.
You're welcome, John. Have fun in Philadelphia, and keep keeping people informed.
Hey, you want more information? Go to electjoemorrissey.com. electjoemorrissey.com.